My name is Robert, and I've been attending the Arts Club Theatre performances from, let's say, the winter of 79, 80, in that period. Oh no, it was it was 69, hold it, it was 69, 70, that's right. And the reason I come to the theatre is because, first, it gets me out of the house, and I get the feeling that I'm able to experience new ideas and meet new people, and I'm part of the outside world. Otherwise, you just get into a rut. So it's my way of getting away from a rut. So once I'm in the theater, I find it exciting because, I meet new people, and that's always a lot of fun. And I enjoy most of the performances, most of the time. In the very early years down on the Seymour stage, it was an old church, but in the basement there was a bar. And in the bar they had, I think breakage is a factor here, but there weren't enough glasses, especially in between the acts. So the result is, if somebody had a drink, let's say a glass of wine with a fraction of wine left in the glass, and they held on to it for the entire break. And remember, the break would, intermission if you like, it would vary in timing. And so the result is, at times the intermission was short and times it was long. So on the more long ones, somebody had to get those glasses back. So people like Louis Bonneville and others at that time would wash the glasses, and then we could use them again. And of course, once they got enough money, they were able to have lots of glasses. But frequently they didn't have lots of glasses, so you had to get the glasses back in. Of course, the other one was people would drink half a glass of wine, put it down, and leave it there. Well, I would run over, grab the half glasses of wine, whip them back to the kitchen, or the so-called sink, and they would be washed so we could sell more wine, more whatever. And so my first and perhaps significant role in the Arts Club Theatre was grabbing glasses half used and getting them back so they could be washed so you could use them again during the long intermissions. And that was my great contribution. And you know, the interesting thing in those days, here's another story for you. A certain gentleman and I were standing there, and at one point I said, he asked me, what do you think of the scenery in the back? And I said something like that. And I said, my God, you think they could get a better Chesterfield than that one over there? And it turned out it was from his front room. Yeah, you did things you ought not to do in those days. But very often, everything on the stage came from somebody's house, somebody's place. You know who I'm talking about, of course.
And Perkins, right?
The Perkins,
Doug
yeah.
Perkins and Doug and Brownie Perkins.
Yeah, well, she had passed away by that time, and he was alone. Mm-hmm. But she loaned most of it. Whether she knew it or not, she was loaning her furniture there on a regular basis. And other people are adding to it. I think Marlene Dixon added to it a few times, too. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it was horrendous. But it was touch and go in those days. It really was. And in my mind, whether it's true or not, the breakout for the Arts Club Theatre was Jacques Brel, for the simple reason masses of people turned up by the Standard down there in Seymour Street. Masses of people turned up, and then they came back again and again. Now, that brought in, instead of the small group of artsy-fartsy types, this brought in just ordinary people. And so the result is that was packed, I would say, almost every night once it got going. And it was wonderful. Then by that time you could afford all the glasses you needed. And the biggest problem later on was getting into the bar at intermission. Oh, give me a break. It was packed. And I'm a pretty large man, and I can push my way around, and you had trouble pushing your way into that bar. And getting served was a bit of a problem, too, because they couldn't move fast enough. That was the real problem. My late wife truly attended all performances and was one of the most enthusiastic people here at the Arts Club Theatre. And she went from one end where she was washing dishes all the way through to showing people around the theatre, writing, speaking out, and she loved speaking. both on television, radio, and whatever. And of course, the Arts Club Theatre gave her all kinds of wonderful stories to talk about and experience. And in the process, she managed to get to meet most of the performers over these years. And we're talking maybe 1969 through till probably 2011. And that's one way I got involved. Now, in the early years, I wasn't around a lot. She was. I give you a silly example. At one point, she was a division chairman over here at Vancouver Community College, and her program ended at 8 o'clock at night. Well, that was 2. By the time she left, it was 9:15. So she came to Ain't Misbehaving for the second act, mostly, let's say, from Monday to Friday, because I was out of town, and even when I was in town, I would come to the first act and then the second act, and so the result is that she managed to put in the record of the person who attended Ain't Misbehaving the most, because she came in for the last part of the first act and all of the second part, and she became dear friends of the singers and dancers in the performance. Now, there's one example, but you see, it gave her, I'm back to my favorite theme. One of the wonderful things about the Arts Club Theatre, it allows people who like being active an opportunity to do things, and then they can see they're being appreciated. They can see their hard work makes a difference, period. Arts Club Theatre, well, the first thing I like about it is I get the feeling I'm making a contribution. For instance, we're all trying to help develop new local talent, and characters such as myself, we at a certain stage want to do something good, or at least we want to think of ourselves as doing something good. And coming to the Arts Club Theatre, I have a way of helping, and it's something that I'm comfortable with. And I can see that my financial contributions and the work I do around, or I used to do around here, meant something. And so I felt good about it. I guess we need more organizations such as the Arts Club Theatre, where everybody can contribute to the level they want to, and they recognize me for having made that effort. And so I'm appreciated, and I'm making a contribution. And you know, at a certain point in time, that's about as good as it gets. The best part of the story is, being a member of the Arts Club Directors Circle, is that you get to go around to interesting locales, and of course I get to meet new interesting people. And a combination of the two brings me back. And of course, we get favored seats in the various theaters that we go to, and that helps too. I sit in the front row very often, and I consider that a plus.